Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is May 22nd, 2014, and it's the biggest day of the week. It's Thursday. So let's look at what's going on today in the economic calendar. Well, first, we're starting with a number coming out of Germany. Okay, it's a German manufacturing number. It's a consensus number amongst the manufacturing managers about how they feel about orders. It is a high impact number because it really touches on the front lines of the manufacturing supply and demand. So it is a major number, and seeing that Germany is one of the largest, most profitable countries in the European bloc, it should have a high impact on the euro. Euro's been a little bit quiet, selling off a little bit yesterday, but nothing really major. So I would keep a tight look at this number. Later today, we have coming out of the UK at 11:30 their GDP numbers quarterly and yearly, and then later today coming out of the US at 8:30 Eastern Time. Initial jobless claims. It's a weekly number. It doesn't really move the market that much, okay, generally, but if there is a significant change in the jobless claims, then it does. But later today at about 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock South African time, we have the existing home sales are coming out. That's a 10 o'clock number Eastern time. So we'll look at these Forex pairs. Just want to highlight a couple of things. We talked about the Aussie USD. This is a picture of the Aussie USD. We had touched on this the other day, and we see that it really tanked, and then it did this nice bounce. And if you remember yesterday, I said if you look to buy this move at about this range, okay, with the stop loss a little bit below it, you might catch a nice bounce, and that's exactly what happened. I wouldn't have gotten so aggressive at this trade, but you see that there was follow-through. There was this tremendous pull right back. We may just grind into a consolidation at this stage before we take it further, because we're hitting on previous resistance, which is right here, and then support. So this area is quite a gray area, between 0.92750 and 0.92625, where we're trading right now. So if we do break higher from this area, we could go up to 9,300, okay, which would be a potential resistance, and then further up 93,250. Okay, so we really have to find some sort of basis there. And of course, on the downside, we have support consolidating us at 92, just above a 9,200. Okay, so again, if you miss this move, you may be able to catch some sort of a consolidation here as we trade in a range before we anticipate taking it higher. But seeing how the U.S. is coming out with major news today, maybe it will continue going up. So keep it in your radar. We spoke about the Euro USD. It's not major move. If you look at an 8-hour chart, look at the bar. Okay, these were major bars right here. We tanked. This was from when Yellen spoke a couple of weeks ago, and now we're at these levels right here, and we're bouncing off of it. Okay, there are a lot of people who are long the Euro USD, and they've been long since here, anticipating that they would bounce, and it failed that bounce. Then unfortunately they didn't cover. Okay, they didn't close their position, and they're a little bit in a squeeze right now. So we are bouncing. Okay, we are range trading. There's nothing really forcing this market to go up higher. Okay, as you can say, we stopped trending in this quite a while ago. So we've been trading within this 139,461 range, 139,500 range, and this 136, 630, 639, 640 range. So, at these levels, would I buy it? Yeah, I'd look to buy it. I wouldn't get so aggressive in it at this stage because I don't think we're really trending in a major trending market. It's not a pullback. It's trending within the range. And, some of these, especially with the Euro USD, it could nominally break some of its support very easily. So if you are looking to get a little bit long, just be careful on the downside. Okay, just keep it tight and make sure you put in your stop losses. looking into the USD Japanese yen. Okay, so this was a layup yesterday, and I gave this to you guys yesterday. We spoke about this. We talked about this line that it formed, okay, where you could have picked it up, and at the threshold we said, you know, the news was coming out of Japan, and simultaneously we're hitting a certain threshold. And we've seen this time and time again over this past year, where the news, the economic calendar, kind of correlates with the technical factors, and we see that here. So we hit some sort of support. I actually bought into this move right here. I sold it too early. Okay, but there's no shame in taking money home. But you know, I could have held it a little bit longer for this bounce. So you know, if we look at a shorter time frame, let's just clear up the graph. Okay, we see that you know it literally, you know, it went. Okay, it really bounced nicely. It's not such a good graph. 1 second, I'm trying to populate that a little bit better. It did go, okay? It did, once it capitulated this high bar, it then, you know, took off. It was a little bit challenging. There's no question it was a little bit challenging, but once you were in, you're in. I believe I sold somewhere into this area around right here. I sold it, jiggled me up. Okay, I should have sold half of it for this upper range. But at this stage, looking at the USD Japanese yen, we are trading still in this, you know, sideways trade. There's nothing here that's, you know, there's nothing here that's really taking us, you know, up or down per se in the USD Japanese yen. Okay, so we're still trading on this range. We're not trending, but you definitely play the range. Okay, moving on to GBP Japanese yen. The GBP Japanese yen did really well yesterday. It's been, like we said before, it's really been, you know, on this tear on the way up. And yesterday, it just came right back up. Every time it's sold off, it comes right back up. So if you look at an 8-hour chart, we see that it really bounced. So artificial, partially artificial support levels because, you know, they've been breached so many times, okay, that it was a decent play to jump into it. And again, as the news was coming out, this was a beautiful move. So between the two, the GBP or the Japanese yen or the USD, the GBP Japanese yen was a better trade because it, as we know, it's been trading much more volatile than the USD Japanese yen. Moving finally into the gold. Gold popped a little bit yesterday. Again, not much going on in the gold. It has been, you know, trading between 1287 and 1306, which is up here, but you see it's been choppy trading. Okay, so hasn't been trending. You know, hasn't been trading for quite a while actually. If we look after this debacle and let's talk about April, we did the bounce, we challenged again on the downside, and then we're making this really tight. And as you can see, we're actually forming some sort of a wedge formation. Higher lows, lower highs, excuse me, and higher lows, which is usually a sign that this thing is going to pop in one direction or another. It has happened before with the gold. So, you know, it lost some of its appeal because things in the Ukraine kind of, you know, quieted down and not much going on politically between Russia and the United States. Looking at the Dow Jones, as we mentioned, you know, the Dow Jones been on this huge tear, okay, on the way up this past year, and we kind of leveled off at 16,600, 16,650, even 16,700 just the other week. And, you know, this has been the story. Every time they take it down, they push it right back up. So, you know, we've seen this formation again, and yesterday was another example. Every time they took it down, look, every time they took it down, they brought it right back up, just equally. Okay, so it's like a fight between the bears and the bulls, you know, every single time. So far the bulls have been winning because every time we've had a way down, we've gone up. Every time up, down, up, down. Every time up, down, up, down, up. Every time down, up. Every single time. So this is basically telling me that the graph is still very, very, very strong. There's no retracements that is really clear that there's some sort of a trend reversal with the Dow Jones, and I believe we're going to go higher. I actually believe we'll hit 17,000 by the end of the summer. That's my prediction. Okay, I could be wrong, but I'll throw it out there. Okay, but you know, this is really something that's making higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, and somewhat consolidating. But it's, you know, it's resilient. It's showing some sort of power, showing some sort of consistency on the upside. So, you know, I'm looking to, for every retracement, looking to get a little bit more aggressive in buying it, anticipating it's going to go further. So again, keep an eye out on the Euro USD today. A lot of news coming out of the England GBP also, and the Euro USD and the USD news that's coming out this afternoon. Wishing you guys a great trading day. This is Razak at CMTrading. Thanks.